we had a declaration coming from the new Israeli defense minister or genocide minister saying that they are now victorious. They have now defeated Hezbollah. We have an announcement, ladies and gentlemen. Israel defeated Hezbollah. That's it. So if you defeated Hezbollah, why is there still anything ongoing? Just finish it off, call it a day, pack your stuff. That's it, you won. We achieved victory over Hezbollah, he said. We defeated them. The blows inflicted will be taught in the schools of warfare. If he means the schools of warfare of the genocide state, they're not going to be lasting for long. That's one. So, it's not like they're going to be teaching anything. But if he means the world, then yes. I mean, some academies, I'm sure some military academies will be teaching many things about this. But on how the resistance defeated Israel, with all of the military support coming from the United States, this is what they're going to teach in international military academies, not the Genocide. But I wanted to share this with you. What he said and what happened minutes after that. So he spoke at a ministerial exchange ceremony at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and addressed the fighting situation. And the most important thing here is the statements, the achievements of the IDF and the State of Israel against Hamas while paying heavy prices are extremely powerful achievements. What do you mean powerful achievements? You have objectives. Did you get to your objectives or not? You haven't. So don't tell me about accomplishments. Hamas has been defeated, he continues. From an organizational point of view, it's nice when you start failing, you want to come up with new statements, with new descriptions, right? So I wasn't able to eliminate them, but I defeated them from an organizational point of view. Well, how romantic is that? You said you want to eliminate them. That's the first military objective. Your prime minister said that many times. So show us, right? Show us defeat. And now there are still, guerrillas and other things. We defeated Hezbollah. We defeated Hezbollah, and the elimination of Nasrallah is the highlight. Now it is our job to continue the pressure and realize the fruits of this victory by ensuring a change in the security situation in Lebanon. It seems like the fruits of this victory will be very poisonous for Israel. I would advise them not to eat the fruits. Don't have them. I don't think it would be a wise idea for them to have the fruits. But he had these statements. Victory over Hezbollah. We defeated Hamas. No, we defeated Hamas from an organizational point of view. We haven't defeated the Hamas. We haven't destroyed them, but we defeated Hezbollah or achieved victory, because the translation from Hebrew is not very accurate. We achieved victory over them. You can say we defeated them too, but defeated them? Okay. Minutes later, this comes from Hezbollah. The Islamic resistance ignites occupied Haifa and bombs enemy gatherings and military bases. In one of the most intense days from Lebanon on the northern part of Israel, on Haifa and on the Krayot area, the Islamic resistance in Lebanon launched qualitative strikes against gatherings of Israeli occupation forces on the border with Lebanon, and also destroyed its military bases deep inside the occupied territory. The man was saying we defeated them. 65 kilometers from the Lebanese borders, the Islamic resistance launched an air attack with a squadron of attack drones on the Regavim base, the main training base for the Golani Brigade, south of the occupied city of Haifa, and hit targets accurately. Not just it, they're publishing stuff too. As in, look at the damage. It's not like video is not loading, but anyway, they're destroying stuff, setting places on fire. And we have further confirm images and footage of missiles landing, the Iron Dome trying to intercept a couple of stuff. But again, hardly anything working. And it wasn't just that, it was all across the region and a training base for the paratroopers brigade in the settlement of Carmiel with a large missile salvo, and the Shraga base near Acre with missiles too. Occupied Safad, again, another base, Amiad, the headquarters of the Northern Corps. They also targeted a strategic location housing missiles that are used in the Iron Dome. Some reports said 10% of them were destroyed. But again, that's something we can't really confirm, but based on the average percentage of missiles being housed in those locations, some assumptions said 10%. Suicide drones on the 146th Division, alongside dozens of other attacks on Israel. And look at this here. Look at the buildings on fire, things destroyed. More images coming from them destroying stuff. Okay. All of that is coming after what? After the defense minister Katz said, we defeated Hezbollah. So if that is the definition of defeating Hezbollah, then we might as well change the whole dictionary. Today, Hezbollah said that Israel is struggling to get hold of any location in the southern part of Lebanon. They were forced to withdraw from Al-Khiyam area a few days back, and they are unable to have any sort of successes when it comes to Lebanon. We're having talks about certain negotiations happening, but again, officials from Hezbollah today, from their political wing, said that we haven't received a draft of anything. And we're focused on fighting Israel, and we can fight for years. They also expressed their views about the American delegations coming to Lebanon, saying that these people are, in essence, just serving Israel, not trying to genuinely reach a ceasefire with Lebanon. Because if they wanted to reach a ceasefire with Lebanon, they would have a different approach when it comes to that. And it's not just with Hezbollah, and it's not just with Gaza. We are having more attacks coming from Yemen, from Ansarullah. Ansarullah, they again used their ballistic missile, Palestine 2. Palestine 2 yesterday on Nahr al-Sorek military base, southeast of occupied Jaffa, with a hypersonic missile called Palestine 2. You're talking about central Israel. And we had an announcement from Yahya Sari', the spokesperson for Ansarullah, saying that the Yemeni armed forces announced today, Monday, the implementation of a qualitative military operation targeting the Nahr al-Sorek military base southeast of Jaffa in occupied Palestine with a hypersonic ballistic missile. The statement confirmed the missile achieved its target and hit, and the hit was accurate, which led to fire breaking out in the vicinity of the targeted site. And they continued with their usual statements of standing firmly with Gaza, that this is coming within the 5th phase of escalation. We're now in phase 5 of the escalation coming from Yemen, hinting that we might see further escalation. but they are still able to launch ballistic missiles on Israel, and Israel does not have an answer to them. Neither Israel nor the Genocide Coalition. The Genocide Coalition has been carrying out more attacks in Yemen, but clearly all of them are not successful. Because if you saw any successes, you would have, well, a level of effect. You would see something translating on the ground. And by the new definition of defeat and victory when it comes to Israel, well, they can also declare victory now on everyone and still get hit. You know, we defeated Hezbollah. We eliminated Hamas from an organizational perspective or an operational perspective, you know, twisting things around whenever they don't achieve anything and they face massive failures on the ground when it comes to their objectives, when it comes to their declared objectives. So you might as well declare victory over everyone and just reach a ceasefire. It would be easier for everyone, right? Like, okay, you killed senior figures, you've caused destruction and a genocide. Okay, say that's it, mission accomplished, and end it. Why are you still continuing then? What's the point in continuing if you have achieved victory? Might as well now say declare everything, like you could have a very long time ago after a couple of attacks here and there, and just get it over and done with. But we clearly have a plan. We clearly have a plan that is more than just attacking Gaza and attacking Lebanon. They definitely have a plan, and Benjamin Netanyahu is a psychopathic individual with delusions of grandeur. The man has maniac attitudes, and he thinks he's gonna create a new expanded Israel and be hailed forever as the King of Kings when it comes to Israel. Although what he's doing in effect is actually destroying the country. These were the first two things that I wanted to talk to you about. Defeat, Israel saying we defeated Hezbollah, and Hezbollah are launching hundreds of missiles. I mean, in the last couple of days, they were the most intense days on the northern part, like the main northern part, like Haifa, for example, still reaching deep into Israeli territory. Clearly no answer. And these missiles are coming from somewhere in the woods and valleys of Lebanon. Again, no, Israel has no answer. And even Yemen is launching ballistic missiles. So Israel is still the punching bag of the region. And no sugarcoating, no twisting, no propaganda will change that fact. No one is scared of them. No one is afraid to challenge them. And everyone who is actually interested in giving them a beating is giving them a beating to their capabilities. Each side in the way they can attack them. No one is intimidated. No one is taken aback. No one is taking their threats seriously. And they are continuing the path of resistance up until we reach a ceasefire. From Hezbollah's perspective, everything could have ended if they had a ceasefire. Hell, from the people who started the recent round, Hamas, from their perspective, it was done deal after the operation because all they wanted was to release some prisoners initially because Israel wasn't negotiating with them. They had 4 Israeli prisoners in Gaza that Israel clearly sealed their fate. They gave them up. And they told them, you're not willing to negotiate. You're not willing to have an exchange in peace. Well, we need to carry out an operation. But from our perspective, it's done. If you want to have a deal, we'll call it a day. Release prisoners. We'll give you your prisoners back. Done deal. But no, Israel, of course, had some knowledge that something is happening, and they decided to implement a plan that they already had with or without the operation of the 7th of October. Likewise with Lebanon, the plan for what Israel is doing and has been doing in Lebanon has been there before Hezbollah started to participate on the 8th of October. Israel just used the timing and deliberately ignored certain things that could have limited the level or scale potentially of the attacks that happened on Israel at the time to implement the plans that they have. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about, Israel is struggling with reservists. Now they're saying less and less people are, arriving as reservists, right? A decrease of about 15 to 25% in arrivals to the reserves. Not saying that, people refusing to serve. Say it as it is. These are people who are refusing to serve. Abnormal decrease in reporting to the reserves. This is people ditching you and who don't want to fight. People are not ready to reach a breakdown. The IDF is concerned about a decrease of about 15 to 25% in arrivals to the reserves, which is felt in the passing weeks also in the fighting brigades in Gaza and in the north, and affects the heart of operational decisions. The additional grants have not yet been closed. So they're worried about the 25% loss, but they're not willing to say it's people refusing. Plus, another thing that shows that they are in deep trouble is the fact that they are still relying on reservists the second year in, although we have a new generation of Israelis who are now at the age of serving. Over 18. Where are they? Did they also flee the state with their families? Because if all of them came to serve in the army, well, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, at least 100,000. 100,000, a couple of training camps here and there, because you're sending incompetent people anyway. All you're sending is TikTok imbeciles trying to video record of their depraved actions in Gaza and going home, not actual fighters. So they would send anyone to go and die. But fact of the matter is they're having a problem even with the younger generations, and that indicates that many people fled with their families. They're not going to come back. That's why they're still begging everyone to come and serve. Alongside the fact that they increase the age of the reservists, right? They need to serve for more years now. They have less breaks. The mandatory years of serving went back up to 3 years after it was taken down for a while from Netanyahu himself. All of these things indicate that they are suffering, they are struggling. And again, that's also only what has been published. That's not the full picture. And again, the new genocide minister, he said, we defeated Hamas. Okay. We defeated Hezbollah, excuse me. So why do you need people? Just leave it. The next thing that I want to talk to you about, we have reports of aid coming in. Reuters reported that aid is coming in the north of Gaza. We haven't seen a verification from the Palestinian side so far. We have reports of that coming in, and not just from Israel. Again, foreign news agencies. We haven't seen any evidence from North Gaza that they are receiving this. And like I said before, so long as we don't have evidence coming from the Palestinian side, we don't believe anyone. And that's the other thing that I want to talk to you about. We are having more calls from international organizations to declare famine in North Gaza. One of them is the Euromed Human Rights Monitor. They shared this article in which they said, as Israel insists on using starvation as a weapon, famine in northern Gaza must be officially declared. And in their declaration, they're saying how Israel is deliberately banning people from getting any aid, blocking the entry of goods for 50 days. Everything is illegal. Of course, we had an illegal blockade previously anyway. You know, for those of you who forgot, we had an illegal blockade for 17 years on Gaza. But they're surprised. Why haven't they declared famine yet? What, is the world relying on the American deadline? And again, when it comes to the American deadline, that is due in a few days, Thursday. We have reports of stuff going in to North Gaza. But again, we haven't seen a confirmation from the Palestinian side. And so long as there is no confirmation, we cannot verify that. And even if there is a confirmation, when you talk about any aid coming in after 50 days of starvation, that is nowhere near enough. You need relief. You need like constant aid going in without being stopped at any point. I mean, the parts of Gaza that are receiving some aid, you're talking about malnutrition if we calculate it on the average daily intake of any healthy human being in terms of calories and vitamins and minerals and, right? It's not about just eating bread. Plus, many people need treatment. Many people need medicine. People have urgent care. None of that is being addressed. This genocidal entity is attacking hospitals every day. They're targeting people in their refugee shelters every single day. Today we had 2 attacks on refugee shelters. These are massacres. Of course, you don't see them in the headlines. You don't see them in the headlines, but these are massacres. Every single day in schools, in UN schools, in tents, everywhere. This is what this country does. So there are signs, because this is the most concerning part nowadays, is the northern part of Gaza. There are signs and reports that things are happening, but there is no confirmation of that thing happening. Because we still didn't have a Palestinian side from within North Gaza, and in particular, when we talk about North Gaza, talk about the Jabalia area, Beit Lahia, the Beit Hanun areas. And again, you know, all of them are destroyed anyway, but some people insist on staying there. You know, see, these people of Gaza, they're made differently, these people. Look, all of these bombings, all of this, and they'll stay there no matter what and sacrifice with their life. Unlike the imposters who flee their homes in droves in a matter of seconds. All of a sudden, they don't believe even in the idea and the concept of Zionism in their state. Shows you the difference between the indigenous people and the fake imposters who created a fake history, a fake narrative, pseudo-history, pseudo-narrative, and established their empire of lies on this land. So, we're going to have to give it a few more days to see if something changes when it comes to North Gaza, and if we have a verification from within the territory that something is about to happen, at least from official sides in Gaza. You would usually have confirmations, and of course from people reporting on the ground. But so far as that doesn't happen, we can't verify it. And from the Lebanese front, there are talks about a ceasefire. The statement from the foreign minister that he has defeated Hezbollah could be a way to climb down the ladder. But again, you can't build on that and assume that Israel would indeed reach a ceasefire, because you have Netanyahu in power still, and the man who declared this victory over Hezbollah, this delusional victory, again, like their existence, they exist on lies. So they come up with lies. This man, Katz, he is the yes man of Netanyahu, because Netanyahu took Gallant out because he used to challenge him sometimes. He used to try and make something work from within, but we had no success when it comes to that. So Israel Katz is his yes man. And now he's saying we defeated Hezbollah. and we disabled Hamas from an operational, organizational perspective, right? Again, you know, word laundry. What do you call it? As in to try and make anything work and show them. Are they using all of that to try and climb down the ladder and reach a ceasefire? We don't know. We don't know, and we can't confirm that. But what we do know is that the talk about a ceasefire will definitely include everything. Because today, one of the senior figures of Hezbollah, his name is MahmoodOD, he said that any talks about a ceasefire will be inclusive of everything. Previously, Hezbollah tried to hint that we're not going to give information until you stop the war in Lebanon. Now they're saying everything, either all or nothing. And they are continuing down the path of resistance. Sheikh Naim Qasim said, the Secretary General, that the only way we're talking with them is through confrontation, and we're going to make them beg for a ceasefire. We're going to make them beg for a ceasefire, the Secretary General of Hezbollah told them. And now they're declaring victory, you know. The first steps of trying to get to a ceasefire is declare victory. Declare victory, you know, declare victory. And again, you know, reach a ceasefire if you're victorious. But again, nothing happened yet. And we still have things pending. We still have the Iranian response pending. There are certain things cooking. Yesterday, we spoke about the Russian mediation, Russia being a guarantor when it comes to Lebanon, how significant that is in terms of a development, because that was an X, that was a no-go for the United States and Israel before. We'll see how that goes, and we'll keep monitoring everything, and of course, continue to analyze things as and when they happen.